Logic, School of Management. It is simple logic.
Welcome to Business Sense. Business Sense means the essence of business and essence. So that's how we coined it. It's called Business Sense. This is presented by Logic School of Management. It is called an entrepreneurial conversation. Today my guest is a very, very eminent person, Professor Dr. Saji Gopinath, currently the Chief Executive Officer of Kerala Startup Mission, as well as the Director of IIITM, that is Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management. Okay. Just to give you a brief on Professor Saji Gopinath, he is a postgraduate engineer, research in management, professor in NIT, and later professor in IIM Kozhikode, where he went on to become the dean. And his time is now actually loaned to Kerala government to look after the Kerala Startup Mission as well as IIITM. Now whenever I think of a situation like this, it is like this, when in Gita they say Sambhavam Yugi Yugi, and in Tamil there's a novel which whose Malayalam translation I read, which is called Chila Nerangalil Chila Manithargal. Some people at some times. So I definitely see this situation of Saji in KSUM is something similar to that. So we see there was a person required to really take it forward, and Professor Dr. Saji Gopinath happened. He has completely changed the face of KSUM, and to the extent the recognitions, the awards, the accolades, as well as the sort of interactions that KSUM has today, and the amount of achievements that KSUM had over the last 3-4 years in terms of incubating, in terms of funding, in terms of accelerating, in terms of mentoring, in terms of provision of grants. And it is not only about IT software, it is also on IT hardware, electronics, biotechnology, genomics. So every sort of startup is actually now around this. To the extent that Kerala is actually the third. Kerala is one of the oldest startup ecosystem in the country, as well as now in terms of number and the sort of activities, roughly between second and third position within the country. And all that actually is because of the efforts rendered 24/7. For Professor Dr. Saji Gopinath, work happens. This is actually a good manifestation of an adage called, there is an adage which says, Karmam karomi, nacha kinchita aham karomi. Karmam karomi, do the work and don't ever bother to say whether it is aham karomi, I am doing it or not. Let the work happen. And that is what his motto. And he worked in tandem with the IT secretary, who also had been very positive. And there's a lot of developments that we had seen in the startup space as well as in the early venture space. Professor Dr. Saji Gopinath, a warm welcome to Business Sense.
Thank you very much, and very exaggerated introduction. I mean, you are always like that, and Gabe, and whatever little startup mission could do is because of people like you who have been great benefactors of the institution, support from you in many different time. Thank you for that, and very happy to be a part of this new initiative, Business Sense.
Yes. All right. I used to ask them with 5-6 questions. So I think your question we start. Actually, I used to ask many people as to what are the challenges that face. But I'm not going to ask you the question. So let me ask you, because you're a keen observer. I have always seen in you that you're able to understand things in perspective and put it forward. Okay, and that has been a very, very strong ability of yours. So my question is paraphrased to ask you this: what are the learnings of COVID-19, Professor Saji? What are the learnings that we have had from COVID-19?
Actually, COVID-19, even though it happened only in last 2 months, right?
Yes.
Roughly, but I think the learning which it gave is more than 20 years.
Yes.
The amount of things which we could do in this last 2 months, and things which we never thought we could do, we were able to do that. And work from home is a good example. I was doing a meeting with my team, and my team was telling that the last month, most of them were working from home, but the amount of output which we could generate and the startups could generate is phenomenal. And some things which we never thought we could do in Kerala, we are able to achieve. N95 mass production is.
Yeah.
And some of these are we never thought of that. But specifically with respect to the learnings, one is we started understanding what are our pain points.
Yes.
Which could actually be addressed very soon.
Yeah.
Be it in the logistics, be it in the availability, be it in the some of the supply availability and things like that. That is one thing which we have specifically learned, and that can easily be addressed. The second thing which is a big realization, is that we have a lot of resources in the state,
okay,
and in the country. And if we actually align this, we can actually do really big things.
Yes.
And people were waiting, right? Once you have a platforms, and when there is a pressing need, people come together. I mean, and it's very interesting to see that people with diverse skills, doctors, engineers, specialists in some other field, biotechnologists, all of them came together in many product development and support sort of a thing. The third thing is, I also feel, which I always believe that, but I think again being reinforced, is that the people in the world are actually very helpful to each other.
Okay.
In the context of a disaster which is completely alien to us, would be that. But there's a lot of support people started giving, and they are spending, and even top business leaders actually give time to others. They actually started mentoring others. It's not that, so my business is come down, so let me not share any secrets or anything. No, it's the other way around. They actually started supporting each other. So if these things actually can carry on to some extent, we can actually make this as a very positive period in the life of the organizations. Of course, there are other challenges. There is a business slowdown which has happened and things like that, and people have also started realizing how to do more with less.
How to do more with less. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. How to do more with less. See, I think, the state has been, sometimes people say like this, but I just use a colloquial thing. But maybe over the last 3-4 years, the state has been undergoing some Kandagashani, We had flood 1 and the flood 2 and the COVID. So recently when I was talking to some people, they were saying that they have this, the powers that we had received the IMD forewarning alert, etc., saying that the state would have an excellent rain situation, and also there could be a chance of the state going into another flood situation. If you can really look at it, the COVID, flood, and the like, and which completely, the whole things are disrupted. And as you rightly said, there's a lot of learning in terms of people resource utilization as well as people helping each other. I'm coming to this issue of, you said about N95. In fact, I was wanting to ask you this question for some time. One is, I had seen soon after these sort of lock-in, close down, etc., were being declared. You, along with IT department in conjunction, came forward and saying that, okay, this also could be an opportunity for startups. Okay, and you right now said about the N95. Which are all the other opportunities that startup could actually capitalize on this COVID time, sir?
Yeah, I think there are short-term opportunities and long-term opportunities.
Yes.
The short-term opportunities are the ones where you have a shortage of medical supplies. Can we actually make sure that my solution can actually be retwisted, pivoted to address that? See, in fact, we have 2 good startups in Maker Village. They're basically working on biopolymers and nanocoating and all for a very different purpose.
Yes.
They actually pivoted their solution. They started looking at, can we actually create a nano-coated masks, and so that this can actually take care of the viral load and things like that. So the short-term demand solutions can actually be met by this sort of pivoting of solution. But I think the longer is important. The long term, there is going to be a huge opportunity for startups, is what I believe.
Okay.
As a startup, not Kerala startup, but startups in per se, and Kerala can actually leverage on that.
Yes.
The first thing is, we know that there are enough and more predictions about how the post-COVID situation is there. I'm not going to get into that. But my feeling is that one challenge which we are going to have it for long is going to be we may have limited people mobility.
Yes.
Even if we say we find a vaccine, making this vaccine available across the world, it's going to be a challenge. It takes time.
Indeed.
And as long as you have a patient in one part of Europe or one part of US or one part of Africa, still people will have challenges of movement.
Yes.
So when you have this sort of a movement, many of the work currently being done by low-cost people
Yes.
may have to be replaced by technology solutions
Right.
or
Yes.
remote working.
Yes.
Either of these. For example, chartered accountancy, which today, since logic is also part of it, chartered accounting today is basically a place where the chartered accountant and the accounts are in the same place, right?
Yes. Yes.
But tomorrow, it will not be the case. Logic can do a CPA. They can do the accounting and auditing of accounts of US by sitting in Cochin.
Yes.
And because you may not get cheaper resources in US to do that, you can actually do it in Cochin and do it. So work will flow. Individuals may not necessarily move. So in that space, Charter has got two opportunities. One, creating these sort of solutions which enable this. Just like a simple example is we are speaking on Zoom. Even though we have Skype, we have WebEx from two large corporates.
Yes.
We still use a startup product, right?
Absolutely.
Why? So idea is that the moment you come out with a product which is very easy for people to use, very effective for people to use, you basically adopt it. So such products are possible from startups world to come. The second thing is there is also a chance of creating what we call as nano startups. The nano startups is like very small one-person startups who may actually do the work, because it is not going to be the employee anymore. I'm actually giving work to another organization. That organization may be a single employee organization. So individuals become employees per se. So the gig economy will come in a big way.
Right.
So service providers will become a gig economy part, and they become nano startups. And other tech startups can actually enable this. So these two, if you properly use it, we actually have a huge opportunity, especially for Kerala, because this is the one state which has shown that we can have minimum business disruption.
I understand. Okay.
Because of the, our primary health sector is very good. We actually shows that we can actually have, we can actually show that. And these are all opportunities which in the long run, the startups and entrepreneurs can actually leverage upon.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Now, Saji, related to Zoom, I have been seeing over the last 10, 15 days, or close to about 3 weeks, the amount of disinformation, misinformation, as well as the everybody had been trying to put it down, but Zoom had zoomed up actually. Today close to 70, 80, 90%. I'll tell you another experience that we have had in KMA. We did a webinar. And since it was being spoken by the managing director of Microsoft, he insisted on doing it on MS Teams. It did not work well at all. In fact, in spite of the fact that the MD of Microsoft actually was speaking on MS Teams, we have had maximum technology challenges to do that webinar actually. So user friendliness as well as the ease of use, etc., really plays up. Now you said about two things. I just want to come to that, particularly the gig economy. Because while you said it in passing, don't you think that gig economy is going to play a major role in time to come as far as employment and work contracts are concerned?
It will actually. It will. In fact, I think if you go back to history, before 1900s, let's say before the last pandemic, your jobs were primarily within smaller, before Industrial Revolution. You will have most of the work confined in homes. And then Industrial Revolution took it to the factories. You have the typical employee-employer relationship which came. Now with the last few years, especially after the 2000 and 2002, there's a change which already has started happening. So you are moving from employee to employee. I think I discussed this in one of the CMA forums also.
That is right. Yes.
So KMA forums also. You are moving from employee to employer and a super employer. And this gig economy is going to accelerate this.
Indeed.
Because when I get, now see, the biggest learning I think many corporates have is that they actually now learn how to divide the work and distribute among people in a remote way.
Absolutely.
They were, in fact, when we started this gig economy for the women, we approached many corporates. They were not really willing to divide this into smaller chunks and give it, and that work measurement was difficult for them. But in the last 2 months, people did that. Most of these companies are very comfortable with work from home today.
Yes, it is.
When I'm looking at work from home, it is not necessarily that that should be my own staff. It can be
Yes.
another person. It can be a freelancer. As long as I'm able to measure it. So this is going to accelerate. And if you have right skills and the right attitude, I think this is a good opportunity for us.
Okay.
And we should use it as an opportunity.
Absolutely, and I'm sure it is going to take off. But these are, when you really looked at things like Elance and Upwork, etc., they created a platform for enabling this to happen. Okay, but at the same time, the major challenges that people are organized, particularly from the employer side of the job, it was that the project management did not happen so nicely. I think in gig economy, you also need to incorporate the project management as a part of the platform, isn't it, Saji? What do you think about? Yes.
Absolutely. So that's what I'm saying. See, this is once you give this work, it is important that you need to have a proper management, monitoring, rewarding part of it.
Yes.
Not just connecting the supplier, they call it publisher and the subscriber. It's not just that. It's more than that. Now, this work from home actually enable many companies to do that. Microsoft Team is a good example. Microsoft Team is a good platform for you to divide the work and get it managed to a large extent. So such sort of solutions, plus the companies have started adopting it, will actually make gig economy flourish.
Okay.
It may have some social impact and social aspects and all, which we may have to.
Really social aspect, labor aspect, employment aspect, regulation aspect, etc. Particular country or a state like that, we have certain level of labor strife, etc. Also need to be looked at. I understand. So now I would like also take your view as a management professor. You had been at this. Okay, so now which is related to the management challenges on the economy that actually is currently that we are undergoing and that we would undergo for some time to come. So what is your view on these challenges that most of the nations, India too, and our state, so how do we contain this? How do we manage this? Any thoughts on this?
See, basically, you know that economists are in three levels, right? Some people say that it's going to be a V economy, that is, it comes down, and then it will go up very fast.
Yeah.
Somebody says that no, it's going to be a U economy, which will remain slow and then go up. Yes. And there are few who say that it's not even that, it's going to be an L economy.
Okay.
It might like that only. So I'm not a proponent of L anyway, but I think either U or V. Okay. And again, going back to the pandemic situation in the past, we have only Spanish flu to our reference.
Yeah.
Generally, what happens is after a period of lockdown or a slow economic activity picks up very fast.
Indeed.
And in the case of pandemic, it will be even more. Yeah. There are multiple reasons. One, here there is not a single country, or it's not a war which created it. It's not a one country which has created it. It's not a one organization which has created it. So your government spend on this globally is going to be very high.
Indeed.
So if it was a mismanagement of a bank, then if you are refinance the bank, there will be a lot of oppositions.
Yes,
but today, if you refinance or if you give airlines, I think already European Union is speaking about helping French airlines and all. So if you started pumping money, nobody is going to really make a big criticism
of it.
This is something which is going to happen. Government across the world is going to have a high level of fiscal investment which is going to happen. Okay. Second thing is, a lot of people could not spend their amount in the short term.
Yeah.
Especially high net worth individuals.
Yes.
So they will actually going to spend on items when the economy opens or slowly opens.
Yeah.
There will be a large number of people who may be cautious spenders, but there will be a large number of people who will easily spend also.
Yeah.
These two will drive the economy. But the challenge is that if you have too much of a money supply, there can be an inflation.
Yes, it is.
And as I said earlier, we are not very good in managing prosperity. We are very good in managing adversity. Too much of, and deep depression was a result of that, right? After pandemic, there was a huge growth, and then there was a fall, and that fall was the one which created a problem for the US and India. So we need to be careful about that, and if you can actually support that with proper economic activity, which is productive activity, then I think we have a nice future. If you don't do that, and if your supplies don't increase and only demand increases, then your inflation and you get into a spiral which can create a problem.
You said about you said about we, and you said about L economy. Somebody was also telling about W economy because the pandemic returning. In fact, most of those business models, most of those disease models which has been prepared by epidemiologists as well as the economists and statisticians put together, they have shown a second and the third phase possibility of it. So there could even be a V coming in, isn't it? A V going and V coming down and again taking off from there. I agree. But then now, in that economic challenge that we discussed, what do you think towards a startup economy? What do you think will happen to startup economy in the coming times post COVID?
The startup economy. See, startups have two important things in the case of startups. I'm not speaking about entrepreneurship in general, but in the startup case.
Yeah.
The startups generally have been working from a large number of startups, so working with the investor money.
Yes.
And leave this the investment which happened on bubbles.
Yes.
Right. Leave that portion, which also is not very small, it's significant.
Yes.
That anyway was bound to fail at some point of time. But those investment which has happened on deep tech companies, which has got solid business models.
Okay.
I think the investment money was a very big boon for them. Because any basic finance tells you that when your market fluctuates, the best thing is equity capital. Because equity gives you a cushion.
Yes, it is.
That's why the startups will actually get less affected than those who are only dependent on debt.
I understand. Okay.
So this is actually something which the good investors who have put the money in the startups and can actually help the startups to revive. And second thing is startup products many cases we know that can easily pivot to address the newer opportunities. So if these two things happen, and other than this, the investors who are looking for 100x return in 2 months sort of a thing, we leave them. But if it is a normal, little long-term investor, such companies actually can wait and they can actually start looking at the opportunities. There is a huge scope for the startup economy to grow even faster than maybe an MSME sort of a space, because they are depending substantially on the loans and debt capital. In fact, I think even MSME also have to start looking at getting this equity capital.
I understand.
Because I think most of them don't do that.
Yes, but MSME is predominantly on debt and loan. That is always been the case, and I think we at MSME in India also is not in any enviable position either. But you said about startup, that view is very good in the sense that actually there is a possibility of startup actually flourishing because of the reasons that you had said. So which being a very positive thing. Now, I also would like to take your view on the IIITM, that is Indian Institute of Information Technology and Management, which also you manage as the director of the institute. There had been some thought about this being converted, the nomenclature being changed to Kerala Digital University. Has that already come into being, Professor?
The ordinance has already been signed by the Honorable Governor, so it is it's already there. And it's interesting thing is that when we put it as a Kerala Digital University, this is a Kerala University for Digital Sciences, in Technology and Innovation. So our objective was primarily to look at the challenges which digital economy faces, and addresses that. But it so happened now that that university being digital itself is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Today we are speaking about digital education and things like that, and you started by saying that. So one important thing, many times people, why the online education did not taken to the level it would have happened. Other than the technology challenges, is that it's like automation, right? If you automate a mess, you will get only a faster mess. So if you just automate your classroom, I teach now. I just do a video recording of my class and put. That is not online education.
It is not.
So the online education should use the power of online. How I can actually look at various tools which can actually find the learner space of learning and things like that. And that is an area where I think there's a huge amount of research and things have to be done. Today, many people who do online education, they are just
putting it across.
They just I used to say in a lighter vein, I used to say that the online education of today is actually a teacher's boon, because in the earlier cases I should see the people sleeping in front of me. Now I don't have to even see that. I'm in a false.
Yeah, you don't have that embarrassment at all.
So you can keep on lecturing without the other guy, whether listening or not listening, it hardly matter.
Yeah.
But that is not what this real online education is. No, we are. You may be knowing that IMK was one of the pioneers in online education.
Yes,
back
it
in
is.
2000
Yes.
itself.
Yeah.
So over the period, we have actually learned substantially in that space. We understood what works and what won't work, and that is something which I think in the digital university space also we are now looking on that. How do we actually create program? We have just launched a program on blockchain.
Oh,
and,
good.
Specifically incorporating most of those learnings and other things.
Okay, I feel you see, fundamentally it has to be a self-learning environment, isn't it? It has to be a self-learning environment. So now we need to really take care of the entire multimedia setup into the dissemination of information. And also, I had been following Professor Howard Gardner of Harvard Institute of Social Sciences, and he had come out with this 9 intelligences, spatial, verbal, linguistic, interpersonal, intrapersonal, etc., etc. So if you really look at it, we need to really understand these 9 intelligences and the intelligence that work on the people, or the dominant intelligence out of the 9 that work on individuals. And at another, we have to look at the multiple media, that is 6 media, how it plays around in the retention and comprehension of the information, and then using and then creating the indriyas, our indriyas that actually which receives that. So it's a combination of that. And I think while IIM, etc., you have done this online education, and lots of improvement has happened, but what people are thinking now is only thing the teacher comes and stand in front of the camera and then disseminates. Notwithstanding who is in front or who is not in front. Probably, I don't think that's going to work. I think, but at the same time, online education is really, really going to take off. Don't you think so?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I think I used to give this in some of the training programs.
Yeah.
See, it's called precision education. Yeah. It's actually we are reinventing Gurukulas.
Yes.
What was the advantage of Gurukula? Guru knew each and every individual's capability.
Yes.
Right? That is why the Arjuna was given a Vanam and
the other was
given a club. Right?
That is
if
right.
It is today, I'm sure both of them would have failed, because Arjuna will be asked to do fighting with the Gada and he will fail, and Veena will be asked to do the archery and he will also.
Absolutely.
So mass education brought in that, because we are not able to follow each individual unless the teacher is very, very good.
Yes.
And unfortunately, with this class sizes being 100, 200, etc., you cannot do that.
Yes.
And we have seen that few areas like medicine, where this precision education still happens, actually have a very different level of learning compared to engineering.
Indeed.
Now, when you move to digital learning, the best part of digital learning is, in digital space, everybody leave their footprints.
Yeah.
Continuously,
yes.
And if you are able to analyze that and map it, then you know each person's, like exactly what you said. No, I know what works with this guy, what does not work with this guy, what type of media I should use. That's where the real learning effectiveness happens.
Indeed.
Now, that is somehow not, when people take it very peripherally. There are few people who does it in detail, but there are a lot of people who take it very, very peripheral as it. A simple example is, compared to another comparison, you go to a bookshop, you take a book and come out. Nobody knows what is your learning. You go to Amazon, take a book. The Amazon knows what is your reading habit, right?
Absolutely.
Next time when you go, Amazon tells you this is the book you need to read.
Yes.
Same thing. In a classroom, I go, I sit, I come out. Teacher may not know what is my learning orientation or anything like that. I go to an online class. Teacher should be able to really map it and get precision education to me. So, if it is done well, online education can actually make our education system really, really effective. It can actually, all these things which we speak in the last 100 years, saying that education has completely been bad and all, all those things can go if properly be used.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. I think, this is, and the word I liked, precision education. Okay, precision education, actually, yes. Yeah, I also would like to know about IIITM, which will be soon called as a Kerala Digital University. Now, you have been able to bring in those very absolutely novel technologies into learning and disseminating that through the people who are discerning people. As you now said about blockchain, you also said about data sciences, artificial intelligence, and machine learning, etc. So now, how is it being disseminated? Is it on people who passes the examination and come through, or how do you select these people to disseminate this information, Professor?
No, as such, IIITM has got it's a postgraduate institution, or the university is a postgraduate university. So that is one area which we will look at. But we also now developing products and services which can actually be used by, and that get disseminated as it. One example is we very recently developed a search engine called Vilochana.
Okay, Vilochana. Okay, yeah.
And what does Vilochana do? Vilochana is primarily to do authentic research in COVID.
Okay.
So suppose you wanted to do about COVID, you type this thing, like say that exponential spread of COVID. Yes. You can get peer-reviewed articles on that topic.
Great. Yes.
So when I'm doing a serious research, I cannot depend on these anecdotal evidences. I need to actually go into the detailed research, right?
Yeah.
So Vilochana is a search engine. It's an AI-powered search engine which primarily look at this.
Okay.
So it's getting disseminated. It is more number of people should start using it. So such sort of solutions which are very relevant to the academic community. At the same time, we also have other solutions for e-governance, the entire food management of this state.
Yes,
it's actually happening through a solution which startup which is IIITM has developed called SIMS. SIMS.kerala. You can actually see that. sims.kerala.gov.in, where if you look at each state, each district, how much is the availability of rice or beans or gram, or that is available daily there.
Okay.
So government is looking at that. No, the civil supplies department is looking at it, and accordingly they will ensure that there is no shortages and things like that.
Yes.
So such solutions is another area where we work. The third is obviously through the seminars and conferences and other things we do disseminate the information.
Right.
Obviously, our students obviously be a part of, but the numbers are not very large. As of now, we are small, and even when it's full-fledged, university may not have more than around 1,000 students.
Okay. So it's something like Caltech. I was actually talking about, they have only about 2,000 students, whereas the next MIT has about 11,000 students. 2,000 students at the university. I mean, my goodness. So I think you also are now 1,000 student university, but so that maybe individual attention as well as the personalized learning can be very, very much better there. Okay. My last question to you is, there has been a controversy going on, between life versus livelihood. You must have life versus livelihood in the sense that whether we want to protect the life or whether you want to take care of the livelihood. You want to open up faster or you want to close it up there. Some countries, in fact, Scandinavian nations, they actually did the reverse thing. They said that, okay, we really look after the aged and the incapacitated, whereas the youngsters, let them build up the antibody of this within themselves. England tried, and then they went back, and then they got into a mess actually. Okay. US absolutely in the mess, but then the powers that we want the country to be opened up so that they don't lose out on the business. So, which is called livelihood. At the other end, we have countries like India where the Prime Minister come and said, "Andar rakho, baitho, you be inside. We will tell you when to come out." So there had been heavy restrictions. Okay, and 1.35 billion people. It's not an easy thing. So, but still have been able to achieve that. So there's a question of this life versus livelihood, Professor. Okay. So what is your thought on life versus, which should be given maximum preferences to?
Livelihood does not exist if there is no life, right?
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
So obviously life has to get a priority. Having said that, if you don't have, if you are completely deprived of things and you don't have even to feed your children, and you don't have any way of getting that, then you are sacrificing the life.
Yes,
so it is not that Corona is the only one which will kill the life. You have a number of others. Probably Corona could be one of the ones which have got a lesser fatality rate.
Yes.
Having no medicines or having other chronic diseases also can kill the life.
Yes.
That is basically where the balance has to be there. I think Kerala did a reasonably good job in balancing this to some extent. Try to balance it to a large extent. But today, I think at least this lockdown in India taught people about social distancing to a large population, not everyone, but to a large population. What is the meaning of that and things like that. So people are more careful about that. We still don't know about the villages and all, but we are aware of that. But in a longer run, without an economic activity, you cannot really make even life safe.
Yes, it is. Yes,
So you need to look at that, and how do we
balance that.
balance
Actually,
this? Maybe some of our traditional rules have to be redefined.
yeah.
No, when I'm asking people to work on a workplace with 50% of the people, the only way you can actually manage is you make the work time twice.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
rather than 6 hours, you now make it 12 hours or
12
18 hours.
Yes,
So
yes.
naturally, you basically will compensate for the loss here by looking at it. So
Yes.
some of those things have to be started looking at and see whether people can actually do things while they are in lockdown.
Yeah.
And but permanent lockdown is not necessarily a solution. You need to actually. It's like this. No, if you don't lock down, your life will come down. If you longer lockdown, again life will come down. So you need to strike a balance between these.
Yeah, that is right. That is right. Yeah, we have been actually talking for more than about 30 minutes, and I didn't know how the time went by. It had always been a pleasure talking to you, and I always, I think, I always look at this lifelong learning as an endeavor, and when I spend time with people like you, my lifelong learning, the quotient actually really goes up. Thank you very much for that. We are going to put it to the channel to see that people will basically listen to the interview, and they'll also get the learning element to be higher. Please continue to do the good work, and I don't have to tell you this. I think you will continue to do the good work, and we are looking forward to having tremendous level of innovations to happen in times to come also. Okay, thank you very much, and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the interview, but also all the support which you are extending to us all this time. And now that I think we are actually at a time of a disruption. Before this talk, I was discussing with my team whether what should be our strategy. Are we looking at an incremental strategy, or are we looking at a radical strategy?
Yes.
And I think we need to really look at a radical strategy.
Indeed.
And AC are different, right?
Yes, that
before COVID and after COVID are completely two different worlds.
Absolutely.
So BC rules may not apply in this AC world. So
AC,
we need to actually start looking at substantial.
Thank you. And as always, it had always been a pleasure to work with you, to work along with all those things. So let me know, and thank you very much, sir. Have a great day today.
Thank you.
Yeah.